All right, we're back. You guys are going nuts over those Suds in the City tickets. The phones are still ringing in there. Take it easy. We got some passes for you. We're going to be giving away all week long. What a great time that's going to be. Now let's bring in Elisabeth Wolf from Wolf Recruiting. Elisabeth, hello.
Hey,
how
Chuck.
are you?
Good,
to see
thank
you.
you.
Now,
Thank you.
Elisabeth Wolf, you do something a little bit different. You're when you say Wolf Recruiting, people are thinking, "Oh, great! Here, I don't have a job.
Right.
I'm looking for a job. Here's a lady that can help me." And you're like, "Time out! I'm looking for people that already have a job."
Yeah, ironically, that's true. However, I'm a big believer in networking. So there are numerous occasions where I'm networking with active job seekers, but my core business is what we call direct search. So companies, or the term I'm not so fond of, headhunter. I like to think of myself as a treasure hunter. So companies hire me when they have strategic hires. So whether it's, I just placed a 10-year CPA accountant for a public accounting firm here in Fresno. I'm finishing up on a search for an IT specialist for an IT services company.
So are you going out and finding these people, or are they finding you?
That's a great question.
If you're a headhunter, are you going into other people's companies and taking their people? How's this work?
Well, I don't think you can take anybody who doesn't want to go. Okay? I mean, it wouldn't be a productive placement to coerce any candidate out of a job they're happy in. Mm-hmm. However, what we've seen consistently since the downturn, steadily, is that depending upon how companies navigated the downturn and what the resulting business culture was within their companies, people are either happy or they're not.
Right.
If they're not, and the statistics are really staggering, within IT, and this was a 2012 survey, over 80% of IT professionals were ready to consider another opportunity.
What were they not happy with? Does it say that?
It could vary. It could be, consider what happened. It was the most excruciating financial collapse of our time.
Oh, I know. I was right there.
So as was I. And so companies, if they had to lay off extensively, if the culture suffered internally, morale, if benefits went away.
If they were asked to do more.
That's a great one.
For the same amount of money, right?
Or less.
Right.
So depending upon the organization, the culture, and climate, there are a variety of things that employees may be evaluating. The other piece is in an improved economy, it's a great time to take that next step to perhaps an accelerated or advanced position.
Right.
So as we say,
advanced
exactly.
Accelerated pay
and
helps.
a good overall opportunity.
Now, when did you start this business? Did you start it in the 2008 era?
Let's say I tried. And then I had a great run with a Silicon Valley startup back in Santa Clara in 2008. And then tragically, we know what happened in 2008. And so I was fortunate. Unfortunately, they lost their funding. But I was fortunate to get hired in-house at one of the top staffing firms. And so for the last 3.5 years, 3.5 years here in Fresno, 2 back in the Bay Area, I've been doing professional staffing. So you could say I'm making my return this past spring.
All right. Now, working in the Bay Area doing this.
Right.
Working in the Central Valley doing this.
Right.
What's the difference?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I try.
I think Silicon Valley encountered, they got a head start on the recovery. Because let's face it, it's a technology-based area. The Central Valley got hit very hard with agriculture, et cetera. So, right, exactly. So, slower return. Tech drives a lot in the jobs market, greater demand. However, we have a strong healthcare base here in the Central Valley, manufacturing, and so the difference, I would say, probably more cultural.
Okay, fair enough. Now, what are some of the things that the companies are looking for now? Okay. And I say this because there's people out there that are thinking, what the hell am I going to do?
Okay.
I'm sitting here, I'm unemployed.
Right.
Maybe I should go to school.
Right.
what is it that people are looking for in the Valley?
From the employer side?
Yes.
Okay. First and foremost, they're looking for attitude. If you're sitting at home watching the clock tick away and you're not doing anything actively to keep your skills sharp, I don't care if it's volunteering, I don't care if it's seeking out some computer training, what we don't use, we lose. And I think the biggest challenge that active job seekers have, the perception is, and sometimes it's validated, is that the perception is they have been out of work, they're rusty, they're slow, they're not going to hit the ground running.
They're not selling themselves, are they?
Some are, some aren't. I don't like to generalize because I've met some fantastic talent in the active job market. One gentleman has a commercial contractor's license in insurance. He's degreed from Fresno State in agriculture business. I met another woman yesterday, has an extraordinary background in healthcare. Circumstances not always of their own doing land people in unfortunate places. That being said, I think from a motivational standpoint, try to stay off CNN and the major news. Honestly, it's depressing. Obviously, you need to stay informed. I'm not saying don't watch the news at all, but choose with a discernment about where you're going to spend your time and attention. For example, today, American Staffing Association .net website, excellent recap of the entire collapse and recovery. Temporary, a great stat to track. Whether you're working or not, but especially if you're not working, is how the staffing industry is doing. The temp staffing and contract industry is outpacing the economy right now in terms of improvement. It's a 122
What does that mean?
Well, what it means is the temporary and contract companies are putting more workers back to work than perhaps on the direct placement side. But what it shows is while companies may not have official budget for headcount, they still need the work done. So contract staffing is a great option. I came from that industry. I value continuing to support it because it puts people in jobs and it provides employers with an extremely flexible hiring model that enables them to protect their budgets but sustain productivity. And as the economy improves and as their businesses improve, then when the time comes and they're able to justify headcount, that worker is in potentially a great spot because who are they going to consider first?
The one that's already trained. It's going to cost them less money. Okay, so right now, what are you looking for? Are there people out there that are looking for someone that could be watching right now?
There are always people looking. I am particularly interested in networking with candidates who are in accounting, finance, and IT and software technology. I have a lot of experience in those areas, and they're kind of key passion points for me. From the employer side, I see it across the board. Obviously, we're approaching tax season, so I was thrilled to help a local firm recently find that 10-year CPA, which I don't know if you know it or not. It's quite a hunt. Put my skills to the test. But we're seeing also increases in HR, marketing, sales. I'm within those areas, what I call high demand. I like to keep my net and my mind open because you never know. I do a lot of networking both on the business owner, hiring executive side as well as on the candidate side. And if it's not a direct business collaboration for me, meaning a source of potential revenue, I always like to help people connect. And so, because you just never know.
It comes back to you, doesn't it? If people want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. However, directly, you can email me at Elisabeth, ELISABETH, at wolfrecruiting.com. You can also go to my website, which is wolfrecruiting.com. And thanks so much for having me on the show.
Nice to see you again, Elisabeth.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the owner of Club Imperio, Pino Borelli's here. Stick around.